Hey guys, welcome to another creator series from Nerds Around. I'm your host Sebastian.
It's a boy Law.
Anybody Tone from across the hall.
I want to give it up for the awesome Robert Powers. Rob, what's up, brother?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's going on? Welcome to the show.
Hanging in there.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
No doubt. Thanks for being on.
So Rob, for all of our creators who come onto the show and everything, we want to know your origin story. You know, we got the Spider-Man origin story, we got the Superman origin story, but what is Robert Powers' origin story? How did you get into the world of comics? How did you become influenced, becoming an artist? Tell us everything, brother.
That Powers is like, come on, that's a perfect like superhero comic book artist like name. Like,
yeah,
it's nothing like Spider-Man. I didn't get bit by no spiders or anything like that. But, my grandfather taught me how to draw a duck when I was 6 years old, and it just took off from there. I'm self-taught artist, so everything I did on my own. And as far as getting into comics, I wasn't even sure I wanted to get into comics, which is the reason why I drew a penguin. Something simple.
Wait,
because check this out, right? Listen, check this out. So reading comics, I'm like, all right, this artist is drawing the same damn character on every page and every angle in every issue over and over and over again, right? That sounds really boring to me. I don't want to do that, right? So let me come up. I was like, I want to make a comic though. So I'll come up with something simple. Came up with a penguin. All right, what kind of weapon is he going to have? Give him a samurai sword. Okay, I love samurai, you know? And so I went from there and I made the first issue and I was like, okay, that was fun. Let's do it again. Let's keep the story going. And then 10 issues.
How long ago was this that you like
3 years
had
ago.
the idea for?
3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was working at the time. I was working in the city, in New York City at the time. A lot of stuff has happened. Since that time, I've had 2 kids. I moved out of state. It's just so much stuff going on. Yeah, man, it's 3 years in the making. And the hard part is like I feel like as I've grown as an artist in the last 3 years, I look back on when I started Penguino and I feel like I see all the mistakes you made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I see what you mean.
You see your progression, then you look back like, why didn't I do it like that before? Like, oh my God. So I'm
didn't know you can't be so hard on your past self, man.
That's what it is though. As artists, and you're your toughest critic. You know what I mean? So
always, yeah.
Yeah,
We all are, and I want to celebrate you as an artist because we were just talking about this in the green room. This is how listen, this is from your Instagram, Raziel piece,
bro.
Look at that. So
yes, that piece is. It's
so
sick.
boss.
It's sick. It's sick. You got Raziel, you got the Elder God. Look, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Legacy of Kain series. It's one of those series that's like pinnacle for me, along with Metal Gear. And there are very few people who I can talk to and be like, "Yo, you ever played Legacy of Kain?" To be like, "I don't know what that is." I'm like, whatever. You know.
Our buddy Ziggo from Comic Tube would love that piece.
Love Legacy of Kain, the voice acting, the story, and then just seeing fan art and just. I was like, when I was scrolling through your Instagram, I was like, oh, I don't even know him, and like I love this pink Penguino, but then I saw Legacy of Kain art, I was like, oh my God, yes.
But look at this, you just don't get down digitally. This is traditional art right here. Look at the Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And then your mashups are pretty epic too. Let me know if you guys see that one.
Epic and clean. It's so clean. Like.
Thank you.
Yeah, and like it's just like seeing this art and you talking about you being a self-made artist. It's just you put the patience and the time and the learning, and and that just showcases it. Not having to worry about the obstacles of school, whether it's money or time or responsibilities. But if you have a passion that you want to go after, you just can work at it.
You got to balls to the wall, man. You got to just practice. People ask me like, oh, how did you get so good? It's like, I don't consider myself good because I'm always looking towards another goal, the next step in my evolutionary art. You know what I mean? And I always tell them, just practice. I know it sounds ridiculous. Every artist says the same thing, but it's the only thing that works,
Yeah. I got to ask this. How did Penguino get his hand on Bruce Lee videos?
Word, like, tell me, can you backtrack and just tell us about the setting that you set this up in?
Shipwreck.
Nice.
Okay. Okay.
You want to know how he got the samurai sword? There was a feudal warrior stuck in the ice. He broke through the ice, took the sword, and the rest was history. And you'll find out that's just a little hint, but you'll find out more information on that in the book.
That's
when it comes out.
awesome.
I love the detail that you do in this world, man. It's just again, it explains a lot, shows a lot of creation that you went into this, and it was just something that was funny to me. I was like, how are you guys hand on Bruce Lee videos and shipwreck that?
Well, the first thing
that's
Bruce Lee. Word, we doing this right now?
Tell us, what was the creative process into this world? How much in depth did you go into each of these characters when you were creating them and everything?
So like I said, creating a comic book, I wasn't even sure I wanted to do it when I first started. It was just something, a little side project to come up with, right? To keep my creativity going in a different way. And I didn't really know how to tell a story at the time. I didn't have any formal training on writing or anything like that. I always just drew stuff. So I had to write out a story. I had to make sure it was cohesive. I had to make sure that characters had an arc. I had to make sure there were all these little details and nuances that you have to follow so your book doesn't look stupid. So I did everything I could to follow those guidelines from doing just a little bit of research. And that's what I did. You create a setting, you create a reason, you create character plot lines, you create subplot lines that end up flowing beneath the story, but still come through on the surface in little bits until the end and everything comes together. And that was basically the rules that I followed, As far as coming up with the story, I love animals. I'm an animal lover. And I have 2 dogs, a bird, and a turtle. And at the time before I moved, I had koi fish as well. And I love samurai. And I love penguin. Penguins are one of my favorite. And what I didn't realize when I designed Penguino, he looked like a type of penguin that's called an Adelaide penguin. I didn't know that at the time. I looked up what Adelaide penguins were because I was just Googling what different penguins look like. Apparently, they're the most fiercest penguin species that there is. I was like, yes, perfect. Serendipitous,
Yeah, man.
So I'm like, all right, I'm on a path. I'm going to follow it. So I promised myself that I would finish the story. After doing issue 1 and showing some of my friends and my family, they all loved it. They freaked out. And they were like, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. So 10 issues later, that's it. That's all she wrote.
Fantastic.
10 issues, 3 years, 200 pages.
So out of that, I'm just gonna do it. Keep my writing chops and my artist chops up. Was just like a, hey guys, do you like this? And they were like, yes, we need more. You gotta love you gotta love family peer pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a good support. You have a good support system.
Yeah.
Now, did some of the personalities for these characters affect the way that you designed them when you were in the concept process?
Yes. Like, for instance, you don't see the character in the issue that I sent you, but Brutus is one of my favorite next to Penguino, and he's a badger that doesn't give a crap about anything. Mm-hmm. He's fearless, and he's fearless to a fault. He walks around carrying C4 while smoking a cigarette. He does not care. Does not. And and he shows it in every way, and it's hysterical. And that's that part of my personality that comes out when you just don't care about something. Whatever, what it is, what it is,
Are all the characters loosely based on you, or do you have some based on family, friends, that kind of thing, or people that you've met in your life?
I didn't go off of myself. I went off of, say, when I wrote out their plots, I was like, how do I think they would react? And that's the path I took. Okay. I didn't necessarily take from other people that I knew, because I didn't want them to read it and be like, is that supposed to be me? Is that me? That's not what I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I tried to keep it very cohesive. And another thing, the reason why I did animals was because, a lot of comics nowadays kind of fall into a trope where it's either racial issues or political issues or things like that. I just steer right clear of it. everybody can relate to animals in some way, and that's the reason why I went with that.
Yeah, and you can, and like you steer clear of it, but you can also kind of, and I'm not sure because I only read the 15-page piece you sent us. And, you stay clear of those issues, but you talk about the Arctic Circle, the melting of the ice caps, and how you have that whole issue with the polar bears and the penguins.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your take to kind of talk about that issue and bring it up, or is it more so just using it as a device to bring them together to bring conflict?
It's a little of both.
Okay.
It's a little of both. It's a little bit to show, just a nod in that direction of this is what's happening.
Okay.
Also, it's a plot device. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had a whole point where he would chop up the bear, but he showed mercy. What was some of the creative changes and all that, and some of the pitfalls that you went through that you're like, I got to change this up and all that as a creator to help flesh out the story?
Like looking back at it now, as far as what I can do now, I see that I've had issues with timing and the panel work, and making sure certain panels did their job in a way that conveyed the emotion, conveyed the story, because there's so many layers to creating a comic book that I didn't even realize until after I did it, and it was a learning. Penguinos Revenge for me was a learning experience in a field that I wasn't even sure I was liking, but now I love it because of it. As far as some of the pitfalls, the hardest thing was being able to find time to do it, because when you work and you come home, and I just recently had a baby, I had my son, and it was tough, because balancing that and trying to find time to be creative. And as a creative, when you work, you need to work multiple hours. You can't just work 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there on a project, because then it just starts to scatter and doesn't flow right. There's so many things you need to pay attention to. And that was the hardest part for me, finding time. I was drawing Penguinos Revenge on the train into the city every morning.
Oof. That's dedication, man.
That's the time. That's like some of the only time I had, that hour trip,
Yeah.
And back.
Because you are self-taught, what was like some of your early inspiration for like your art style? Like, what were your influences that you were looking at? And you're like, I like a little bit of this. I like a little bit of that. Like, I want to try to emulate it or let it inspire you.
So creating Penguino, the reason why I went with the aesthetic the way I did was because I like the way Sonic the Hedgehog looked. I'm a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. He's simple. He's cool. And he's got a little attitude. So I'm like, what if I took that cool and that attitude and I just cranked it to 11?
Right.
He's not only got an attitude, but he's got a filthy mouth on him. And he likes to cut people up.
Yeah.
I love that it went 0 to 100 real quick.
Exactly. And that's one of the aspects of the design that I liked, that he looked cute, he looked fun, and then you open the page and there's blood everywhere. Like when I went to the con to showcase issue 1, people were looking at it like, oh, this is nice. Whoa, what is this? Because the middle of the book opened up to where Penguino cut up the polar bear. They were like, what?
It almost felt like but I Hate Fairyland. Like that first issue.
I love that. Scotty Young,
yes.
Amazing.
It's that first initial, just this looks colorful and fun, and you're just looking going, fuck, and you're just seeing panels just cursing and screaming, yelling at each other. You're just like, oh, this is not what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Same vibe, same energy, and I love it.
I love the design.
That was the starter image he used on us.
Yeah.
That was the first thing we saw, and we're like,
what?
Sign us up. Let's go.
Let's keep going, man. Show me more. And he was like, this is who we're talking to? Oh, I'm here for this.
Yeah, let's do this.
Thanks, man. Thank you. So I throw a lot of my work up on TikTok, right? And when I shoot the video and everything like that, I let them know in a voiceover, like, hey, if you have any suggestions or anything, let me know. I might take a liking to it and do it. Some guy said Venom and Raiden from Mortal Kombat, and I instantly saw it in my head. I pictured the hat, and I saw the Venom tendrils going around over the top of the hat. I saw all that shit, and I was like, okay, I'm definitely doing that. Oh my god, I'm doing that.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
and that it came out perfect, man.
Yeah, thank you. And my next piece I'm working on right now is a Spawn Batman. That's what I'm working on right now.
Oh, that cape is gonna be epic.
All right, so picture flames in front of it, and picture the moon behind it at night with bats flying through the air. That's what I'm working on.
Oh,
Bro.
that's dope.
That's so fucking dope.
So are you gonna sell that as a print?
Yeah, I'm going to be selling prints. Yeah.
That's dope.
That is a beautiful mashup right there.
Yo,
That's
look at the
clean.
bat symbol. Look at the bat symbol going into the Spawn.
like,
It works so perfect, bro. It's just,
even the gauntlets. Look at the gauntlets, the chain and the spike. Yo, all right, I'm way too hyped.
So we
Yes.
saw that I think so you're doing a figure for the Kickstarter.
That's the plan. I'm not sure where we're at with it exactly. I still have to get pricing points, but I'm hoping that I can get that out there like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. So when Seabass was going through the whole thing and just scrolling through your stuff, I got to the figure. I was like, "What? We got figures now? Like, oh my goodness, this is dope." This is a 3D render. This is not a prototype, correct? And you created this 3D render?
No.
Oh, okay.
There's a friend of mine that I met who actually was he originally commissioned me for some work, and then we started talking, and he fell in love with the Penguino character, and he does this kind of stuff. So
Nice.
are we getting animation down the line?
That's where I'm at. Like, let's be
I'm
honest.
currently in the works with talking with an animation studio for at least an intro for the Kickstarter.
Ooh,
For at
nice.
least an intro. So we'll see how that goes. I want to talk to some streaming services, try and shop it around, see if I can even get in the door, but I don't know how that's going to work yet.
Right.
But I when I see the characters, I see them moving. I see them talking. I see them cutting people up. I see some crazy animations that are simple but beautiful, like Samurai Jack, you know?
Yeah.
It is a beautiful book. I guess I can't wait.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely taking care of that one.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Also, I guarantee that we all looked at the character and immediately knew how to play it in the D&D campaign. So at some
I'm
point,
sure you will.
I'm creating
I am sure you
Penguino.
will.
I'm creating Penguino in the D&D campaign for sure. He's gonna pop up either as like an NPC or
his
or what have
backpack
you.
isn't for show. He's got a set of sai, he's got a grappling hook, and he's got smoke bombs. So and ninja stars. So
Oh, he's definitely gonna be a Kensei monk then.
Yeah.
For sure.